Hello, my name is Toran and this is my testimony on sexual perversion. I believe I was like 5 or 6 years old, and I was outside playing, and I walked past the window of the television room of my house, and my brothers and my cousin, I think one of my younger uncles, they were in the room looking at a pornographic movie. So being that at that age, I saw it, and it opened something up inside of me. So I was intrigued. So I went into the house and tried to get into the room where they were. And after a couple of attempts, they allowed me to come in and watch the movie with them. So ever since then, I was hooked to pornography, and I didn't even know what it was. Yes, we all sin, but the thing with lust is never satisfied. So once you get to a place or a certain level, the lust, it increases and you go to another level, and the perversion continues to get deeper and deeper until you just at a place where you never thought you would be. In the word in Genesis 38:9, you find the sin of Onan when he was supposed to go into his brother's wife and to bear a child with her. When it was time for him to ejaculate, he spilled his seed and God killed him. And this was an act of selfishness and disobedience. Because one, your seed is not your own, it's God's, to replenish the earth. And the disobedience was to have a child by his brother's wife so that his brother's legacy could be continued. So with the sin of masturbation, you're wasting God's seed, and you're being selfish because it's just to please your flesh. It wasn't something that happened overnight, you might say. Being exposed to porn from such a young age, I was trying to look at porn at whatever chance I had. So I believe it was either 7th, 6th, 8th grade, sometime in middle school, when the internet was beginning to become popular. We had lab times, so when my classroom would go to the lab, do research, go on the internet and do the Encarta online, the encyclopedia. I would be online looking at porn, and at that time, because it was an early stage in the internet, they didn't have the safeguards like to keep you from the filter, the pornography portal. So whenever I got on the internet, different portals would pop up, and there was new things to me. So whenever I saw something new, it opened something else in me, and it was like something else that I would go to. Like I had a hunger for it. The lust continued to grow as the portals opened to me. So at that time, I was exposed to anime, which is cartoon porn, and to bestiality, incest, and other types of pornographic sites. It just opened me up, and I was at a place, I was a kind of person that was to myself. So, and I was really sneaky too, and I knew a little bit about computers, so I would hide my tracks by deleting the history, and nobody would know that I was doing it. So I was digging the deep hole at a young age, and I didn't know that where it would take me. But at that point, I was just trying to please my flesh because it was something I liked to do. Because this was a new thing, and my mind was idle. Just as any young teenager, your mind be on sex at such an age, and since I was already open to lust, I was just to another level. So I had thoughts of actually performing bestiality acts, and I had a dog, family dog, and I performed bestiality acts on the dog. The thoughts that I had while in the midst of it, the things that I would see on the internet were the things that I tried to act out. So whatever I saw, that was what I would do. So that's how I got into it. And when I was doing it, it was just me, the pleasure of pleasing myself, and the rush of doing it because it was something that it was out there. So when it's something that's forbidden, you get a rush of the flesh. So it's just pleasure. I was pleasing myself. Looking at the internet, you get exposed to a lot of crazy demonic stuff. So there was also this website, I forgot what it was called, with guys that perform oral sex on themselves. I did that a couple of times and I got hooked. So I was performing oral sex on myself, and as well as trying to molest my little sister. So I was now in incest and performing oral sex on myself, along with the bestiality and masturbation and watching porn whenever I had a chance. So I was like really deep in it. And the next thing was to become gay, which is the complete opposite of God. No one knew about it. And that was one of the things that kept me in it for so long, because there was no one that I could confide in or tell about my sin. So because I was the only person that knew, the enemy used condemnation to keep me at a place where I was such a bad person and nobody would ever want to be with me or be around me if I was to expose this thing. So I was in bondage, like all by myself, my mind being idle, and the enemy had full access to me all day, every day. First step of my deliverance was confession. It may seem small, but it was the biggest thing, because this was actually the key that I needed to be freed from the bondage of that sin. So after I confessed and exposed the sin that the enemy had me bound to, I was free. So after that, the next step was to be rid of, I had to watch what I was looking at when I was on the internet, stay away from everything. Like God actually had me to be away from home, because when I was home, that was where the enemy would try me with sexual perversion, thoughts of masturbation, looking at the pornographic movies, whatever I had access to at home. So God actually removed me from home so that He could get the stuff out of my system. So that was my process. The first most important thing was confessing and being transparent. I actually did, because while I was trying to get through this ordeal by myself, because there was nobody that I felt comfortable with telling this, God was, He's speaking to me. I was reading in my word where masturbation, and with the sin of bestiality in the Old Testament, you would die for that sin. So I was like, God, I'm like just this filthy person. I'm committing this abomination before your sight, and I can't stop it. So the enemy playing in my head as well. I was thinking I would never be married. Nobody would want to be with me after I told them the secret that I had, and I knew I was going to tell, because I wasn't going to hold it back. So I thought I was going to be alone by myself for the rest of my life. My first step was to say something about it. It's not comfortable, because you feel like you just this freak, or you just weird. But if you stay like that, the enemy's going to have you bound, and you're going to be doing some other strange things. So the first thing is to confess and get the enemy off your back. Because if you stay right there in that place, he's going to continue to ride you, and he's going to run that thing through your head all day. Like, you got to confess and let somebody else know. You got to expose the enemy. That's how you get free.